Hey friends, happy Sunday and welcome back to another week of What's for Dinner. If you're new here, hello and welcome. I am Taylor and I share What's for Dinner videos just like this every Sunday. This week is all like really simple meals pretty much. Not a lot of like in-depth cooking because I was preparing for Thanksgiving and I like to keep things pretty easy and I don't like to have a lot of leftovers leading up to Thanksgiving because I'm trying to clean out my fridge. So it's a pretty quick video today, but the recipes that I do have I will link down below in the description box as always. Now let's go ahead and get into this week's What's for Dinner. Friday night was a quick and easy favorite. I had been grocery shopping this day, so I just wanted something quick. And so I made some fried rice, which I've shared many times here on my channel, and a video of that will be linked down below. And then I had some Potstickers in the freezer from Aldi, and they come with a little sauce packet. So I made those, and then we had the sauce on them. The kids like the sauce on the side for dipping. And then some of us topped ours with some sesame seeds, and I'm the only one who topped it with some green onion as well. But these Potstickers are very good. These were, I believe, the pork ones, if I remember correctly. But we like both the pork and the chicken ones from Aldi. Saturday night, I made a huge pan of lasagna. I didn't want like a bunch of leftovers in my fridge from like multiple different dinners, but I made a huge pan of lasagna so we could have like one thing of leftovers in the fridge that would make lunches really easy. So I'm using Italian sausage in it this time. Sometimes I just use ground beef, but this time I wanted Italian sausage. So I just cooked that up, and then when that was done browning, I added in 1 jar of marinara sauce. I am going to use 2 jars for this lasagna, but I just did 1 jar mixed in with the meat, and then I kept the other jar like separate. I'm going to use that to like spread on the bottom of the pan. And then I started working on my cottage cheese mixture. Some people use ricotta cheese. I like to use cottage cheese. So I did a whole, I think it was a 24-ounce container of cottage cheese, 2 eggs, a bunch of seasoning. I did some garlic powder, onion, salt, Italian seasoning, and then mixed that together. And then I added in a bunch of Parmesan cheese. Okay, now I've got this giant lasagna pan here. This is the biggest pan I've ever used for lasagna. I bought this pan last month for Elijah's birthday cake. And yeah, it's supposed to be a lasagna pan and it is huge. It's bigger than a 9x13. It is massive. So I just started off by adding in some of the marinara sauce to the bottom of the pan. And then I laid down a layer of noodles. And then I spread on half of the cottage cheese mixture. And then I'm going to go in with about half of the meat sauce and then some mozzarella cheese. And then I'm going to repeat with a layer of noodles and just continue that until I have all of the layers and all of the stuff all used up, ending with a layer of noodles on top, the last little bit of sauce, and some mozzarella and Parmesan cheese. And then I baked this in the oven at 375 for about an hour. This lasagna turned out so good. I mean, it's the regular recipe that I usually use, just I made a little bit more of it so that it would fit in that giant pan. And then to go with it, we just had salad for those of us that like salad. Sunday night, I made a super simple recipe for some beef tips in the crock pot. I have made this recipe before. It's very few ingredients and it turns out great every time. So first I've got my beef stew meat in the crock pot, and then I added in a package of brown gravy and then a package of onion soup mix. And then I do a can of cream of chicken, but if you like cream of mushroom, you could definitely use that instead. And then you just add in some water. And again, if you like mushrooms, you can also add in a can of mushrooms. But we are a no mushroom household here. Just cannot stand mushrooms. So you just mix that around really well and then just cook this on low for 6 to 8 hours. And then this is what it should look like. Sometimes you might need to go in with a whisk and kind of whisk it up a little bit. You can also go in with some cornstarch if you want the gravy to be a little bit thicker, but we like the consistency of how it comes out. It's just a little bit thin, but not like too thin. And then we just serve this over some white rice with some green beans on the side. As I said, it's delicious. I've been making this for years. I probably pinned it on Pinterest like almost 10 years ago because I feel like I made this before Lily was even born. But yeah, that was dinner for Sunday. Monday night, I made some barbecue pulled pork. So I had a huge pork butt in the freezer that I had gotten at Sam's Club. So I just threw that in the crock pot with some of this Auntie Nono's grilling seasoning. And then I also added on a little bit of barbecue sauce. And then I let this cook on low for like 8 to 10 hours. I let it cook all day. Like I started this in the morning and it was like 10 o'clock when I started, I think. And then I didn't stop it until almost 8 o'clock that night when we got home from martial arts. So it had a long time to cook. And that's the way I like to do pork in the crock pot, like on low and for a lot of hours. And it turns out great every time. And as I said, this was a pork butt, which I usually get like pork shoulders, or I just use part of the loin. But this one being a pork butt, it had a bone in it and then it also had like a bunch of fat. So typically I would just shred it in the crock pot, but I was struggling here. There was also a lot of liquid because of all the fat that like kind of cooked off of it. So I ended up taking this out and shredding it in a bowl. And it shredded really beautifully once I got like all of the pieces of fat off of it. Just had more fat than I am typically used to, but it turned out so good and so flavorful. We just served this on some brioche buns with a little extra barbecue sauce, some chips on the side, and a can of baked beans. And Andy and the kids like to put a slice of cheese on their barbecue pulled pork sandwiches. I have never been one to do that. I love cheese, but there are just some things that I don't want cheese on, and two things off the top of my head are a BLT and a barbecue pulled pork sandwiches. Do not need cheese in my opinion. So let me know what you think about that in the comments down below. Tuesday night was a really simple meal, and that was grilled cheese and tomato soup. This just like is a favorite, and it also brings me back to my childhood. We ate this a lot as kids, but I like turn it up a notch by putting it on sourdough bread. That's our favorite bread to put grilled cheese on, and we didn't have sourdough bread when I was a kid. It was just like white bread, but sourdough bread is just really good. And then our favorite soup is the Progresso hearty tomato soup, so that's the soup that we always use for it. And we used 2 different types of cheeses on our grilled cheese. We do American and cheddar cheese, and they are delicious. Wednesday night was the night before Thanksgiving, and our tradition is to eat chili on the night before Thanksgiving. Typically, it is chili that I pull out of the freezer, which is what I did this night. Pulled it out, heated it up on the stove, and then I made some spaghetti noodles for Andy and the kids. They like to eat chili spaghetti with some cheddar cheese on top. And then I actually had a chili baked potato, but my baked potato wasn't done when their spaghetti was, and so then when it was done, I forgot to film my food. But I did have chili baked potato instead of chili spaghetti. And of course, Thursday night was Thanksgiving. I hope that y'all all had a happy Thanksgiving if you celebrate. We had a good one. Most of this food was all cooked by me. I was in the kitchen by myself this year because my sister was not able to come home from Florida. And my brother did help with the turkey. And Andy did help with the punch. He made a punch. Everybody was like, do you need help with things? And I was like, no, I got it. You know how it is when you're like the one in the kitchen. Like, I have a hard time being like, even delegating tasks, I'm like, I don't know what you can help me with. But we had some of everything. We had our turkey fried by my brother. We seasoned that with Tony's Creole seasoning and inject it with some Creole butter. We had ham. We had gravy and mashed potatoes. I make my mashed potatoes in the Instant Pot. We had carrots and stuffing and broccoli casserole and green bean casserole and mac and cheese and did I say stuffing? I think I said stuffing. Cranberry sauce, deviled eggs, rolls. I think I got it all. And then for dessert, which I didn't film, we had pumpkin pie and an apple caramel dump cake. And then we had like brownies and some other stuff that somebody brought. But we had some of everything and it was delicious. Most of the recipes that I made, I have shared on my channel before. And I put them in like a Thanksgiving playlist. So if you're interested in seeing those, you can check them out down below. But I was busy in the kitchen, not able to it would be chaotic if I was trying to film stuff because I'm like back and forth across the kitchen doing lots and lots of things. But that is going to be it for this video. As I said, if you celebrated Thanksgiving, I hope you had a good one. If not, I hope you just had a good week. We had a great week and a great Thanksgiving, spending time with family. And I hope you all have a great upcoming week, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.